So anyone that doesn't know, Jessica's going to the airport for a trip. So she's in the car driving with us, but we can hear her so well. So thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Let me just first introduce you. So Jessica is a nutritional health coach helping women with chronic illness and symptoms of fatigue, brain fog, hair loss, weight issues. And this is all by really monitoring um, the environment, our mindset, and just our body image, right? So, hi, Jessica. It's so great having you on today.
Hi, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. So, I actually, before we go into our three beautiful cues of cleaning out the lymphatic system, and then kind of getting us ready for summer, I know it's the end of spring. I want to ask you how you got into this, how you really took a step forward to being a health coach, and really what inspired you to do so.
That's a great question and a great
Thanks.
story. I, well, I started out with,
Mm.
I was a sustainable building expert,
Oh,
and
wow.
I still am. I consider
Yeah.
myself a sustainable building expert still. Um, but I started having my own health issues come up,
Mm.
autoimmune conditions, and it was
Yeah.
really strange for me because I was eating pretty healthy. I had a
Mm.
lot of stress though with the jobs that I was working in. I wasn't one to get sick a lot, so coming
Mm.
down with or developing Hashimoto's is what it started out as. Um,
Wow.
was really surprising to me.
Yeah.
And I remember going to the doctor and saying, well, I also had a goiter. And that's how I noticed something was wrong,
Mm.
right? I had a lump in my throat.
Mm.
And so I went to the doctor and I said, well, okay, so I have Hashimoto's. How do I reverse it? And
Wow.
he said, oh, there's nothing you could do. You just take this, levothyroxine. And then
Mm.
eventually your goiter will just get too big. We'll have to cut out your thyroid. And that was his answer. And that didn't sit so well with me. So
Mm-mm.
I started embarking on my own health journey and trying to figure out how I could uh, solve this problem. I
Yeah.
did a lot of research. I started seeing naturopathic doctors. I had never been to a naturopathic doctor before.
Yeah.
And, you know, this really, and during this time too, when I was still looking into solutions, I still had a lot of stress in my life from my work and just daily stress.
Yeah.
And I, I started developing other issues too, type 2 diabetes and alopecia areata. And those were really
Mm.
surprising because at that point I'd already started making some dietary changes. So then I knew
Wow.
it's not all about diet.
Yeah.
And so that's when I really started to uh, see, well, what else can I do? And when I found out about health coaching as a career and I started
Mm.
looking at the curriculum for Institute for Integrative Nutrition,
Yeah.
I just went, wow, oh my gosh, this is what I should be doing.
Yeah.
And that I quit my job. I
Yeah.
started down the health coaching career path, and my whole goal throughout the entire program was just, wow, I don't want any other women to go through what I've had to go through.
Yeah.
And so here I am. I just want to, help women reverse their conditions, reverse their symptoms, and
Yeah.
prevent this happening to them because I tell you, it's no fun having
Yeah.
a thyroid issue. It's no fun having your hair fall out.
Yeah.
And it could get bad. You could get to the point where you're pretty much bald, and that's
Mm.
hard to swallow. That's stressful too. So it doesn't really help. So
Yeah.
that's my big dream. Just help as many women as I can.
And that's a beautiful dream. And I think that's so important, especially as we go forward in our life, living our life and thinking everything's okay. And then 1 second, something hitting you so hard and
Mm-hmm.
it makes you change everything. It makes you change the outlook. It makes you change who you think you are. And
Yes.
it's amazing that you went through this journey yourself. and how you inspire other people to do the same.
Thank you.
So, yeah, no, definitely, definitely. So I want to first ask about the lymphatic system, but I want to
Yes.
let you kind of sit down and do your thing, because I definitely want you to show us how you're doing it through, the throat. And if anyone is friends with Jessica, or wants to know more about Jessica, she has this beautiful video on Facebook where she really shows you how you can really not diagnose, but help yourself with the really the drainage, right, of anything that's still clogged there. And
Yes. Yes.
which is perfect, because for me, actually, is because I got sick last week, the end of last week. So I was like, oh, I cannot wait to see Jessica and have her show us all how she's going to do this. So I'll wait for you to sit down, and so you can
Yep.
really, really show us. So I might ask you a few questions, just how other people, your clients, how they approach your teaching. So, it's all mindset. So how are you allowing your clients to really see that they are a bigger picture, that they do have the potential to be something else, even if a doctor or someone in a higher position has told them, you know what, this is just not for you, you won't be able
Mm-hmm.
to change this. So you're getting, even though, of course, doctors are amazing, they're beautiful things, beautiful people, but at the end of the day, sometimes our healing has to come in our own hands. So how do you really change that mentality to show that there is another possibility for you?
That's really key. And I think by the time they've decided that they want to sign up for me, they're
Yeah.
already partially there. Because you know, I guess all of my clients have come from a place where they see conventional doctors, but they're also already dabbling in seeing some
Yeah.
naturopathic doctors, or they have in the past. They have an idea that maybe there's something that they could do differently to help them heal, and but they're just not really sure what.
Gotcha.
And so by the time they get to me, they have an idea, they're hopeful. Um,
Mm.
and sometimes we do have to work a little bit on that hopefulness piece during our initial sessions, because part of their brain is saying, logically, they know food is medicine, but
Yeah.
at the same time they've been struggling for such a long time that they're kind of there might be a little bit of hesitancy in really believing it, like they're afraid of believing that there's hope for them.
Mm.
Belief that oh, my genes just dictate
Yeah.
exactly what my life is going to be. My mother had this, my grandparents had this, my siblings have this, therefore I'm going to have it. And it takes a while for them to realize that they are not their parents, they're not their grandparents, they're not their
Yeah.
genes, right? Genes can turn on and off, and I think this
Yeah.
is such an important piece, because it's only been talked about, epigenetics, and the knowledge that you could turn off those genes is very recent. So not everyone understands this yet.
Yeah.
And so it's, a lot of this is a little bit of educating my clients, but it's also digging into their beliefs, making sure that they finally get to that part where they say, yeah, you know what, I am definitely going to um, believe in myself, believe that I can make this shift,
Yeah.
and give Jessica a chance in her process.
Yeah.
And my goal by the end of the 12-week program that I have for one-on-one coaching is that they're in a place where they feel empowered, right?
Yeah.
They've
Mm.
changed their diet, they've changed some of those limiting beliefs, they've started to change their schedule,
Yeah.
some basic lifestyle changes, and they're feeling empowered to continue on that path.
Mm.
So, yeah.
So before we get into our three steps, can you explain a little bit more about, you mentioned that sometimes they're scared. They're a little, clients may be scared of going on a healing journey, and maybe at the visceral reaction, they go, I'm not scared. I want to have health. I want to be this. But they're also afraid to lose that victim mentality, because that victim mentality can be so strong, and it can
Yeah.
really take hold. If you're a victim, then you have something to blame.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, once you kind of go into it, you have nothing else to blame but yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's a big piece.
and if you want to add on into any of that, of why they're scared, or for anyone watching here, maybe they're like, oh, I don't think I'm scared, am I? Maybe if they could self-diagnose themselves a little bit, or add on to anything of that scaredness or any of that victimhood popping up.
Well, part of it, and I wanted to just note that
Yeah.
sometimes it's just a fear of failure. I've tried so
Yeah.
many things before, or I haven't tried so many things before. And,
Yeah.
I'm just worried, maybe this won't work. I'm not sure if I want to move forward with this as an option. That's a big piece. The victimhood piece, wow, that is really a powerful thing that can be a part of someone's healing journey, is just overcoming that um, that feeling like, no, they could blame others outside of themselves. And you're right on, empowering women to take control of their health, being their own health advocate.
Yeah.
Wow, it's such a powerful transformation, but it's also, a lot of people aren't comfortable with that. They have to get comfortable with that first in order to make real progress. And a lot of people will wait till they see the evidence of something that they've done differently is working to a certain degree before they move further. And what we have to do is get them to the point where they don't wait for that evidence. They just jump right in, and they say, you know what? I'm just going to believe that this is going to work, that this is going to make an improvement, and that's it. I'm ready.
Yeah.
And we want them to be ready.
That's awesome. So they're kind of letting go of any false beliefs that's holding them, or any beliefs in general, and saying, you know what, I'm going to just take this 100%. I care more about myself than I do about others' opinions or even my own judgment. And that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. Okay, perfect. Thank you. If you could just help us. So we're going to have 3 steps. And the first one I'm super excited about, which is Jessica's going to show us how we're going to clean out our own lymphatic system, get ready for summer, right? So kind of end with any allergies or any of that pollen coming up. And of course, there's probably still pollen in the summer, but just to kind of bring a healthier and better version of ourselves.
Yeah. And wow, I love the word drainage. You use the word drainage, and this is so important because our lymphatic system is just a part of our drainage system. Set aside detoxing for now. Don't think of this as a detox thing. It's just, does our drainage pathway, one of our major drainage pathways, does it work?
Yeah.
And so there's a few different ways that I wanted to talk about lymphatic systems. First off is sleep. And you don't always think about that. Sleep, during the nighttime, when we fall asleep, our brain actually shrinks by about 30%. It's really weird. Like, this is sort of a new thing that's coming out more and more. And the brain has its own lymphatic system. That is the lymphatic system. It's called a glymphatic system. So it's with a G in front of it. And so the brain shrinks by about 30%, and that allows this flushing mechanism to occur in our brains. So what happens in the morning is that we'll get a sense, part of that lymphatic system drains through our tonsil area. Okay. So in our mouth, the tonsil area gets some of that icky stuff that just drained from our brain. Some of it goes there. So what I like to do is I like to use a tongue scraper in the morning. Simple, super simple solution. So first thing in the morning, take a tongue scraper, do that. The next piece is that some of it goes into our lymphatic system, right? Okay. So now comes the next part. So there is a very simple way to do a lymphatic massage. And here I am wearing a scarf right now. So, and I'm going to do it one-handed. Okay. So
I'll do it with you.
Okay. So we want to go from the back of our ear.
Okay.
all the way down to our kind of like where our collarbone is.
Okay.
And you'll sort of, it kind of goes along the muscles. So you're kind of doing this motion. And you could do this when you're moisturizing your
Okay.
face in the morning. I use a facial oil, so it makes it pretty slippy, which is
Okay.
great. So you do that. Second piece is you're going to put your hands kind of like a, Spock, right?
Spock.
Like
There we
that.
go.
Okay. And then you do both sides of the ear. And then you pull, you're kind of pressing down a little bit, and you're pulling down along the same pathway. So it's
Okay.
kind of like you're kind of priming the pump, and then you're going a little further along your ear.
And is this
then all the
medium
way
pressure?
down.
Is this medium pressure?
It's
okay.
medium pressure, yeah. And then the last piece is you're going to have your hands together like this, so parallel, and you're putting them right behind your head, just at the very base of your skull.
Okay.
And then you're moving them down about maybe 4 or 5 inches down the back of your neck. And you're
Okay.
also pressing down.
Gotcha.
So you have some pressure there.
So I'm only going down, I'm not going up, I'm assuming.
Right. Just
Okay.
go down. Mm-hmm. And then
Perfect.
there's one other thing that I wanted to mention, and I'm afraid I can't demonstrate it here. There's 2 things, actually. One thing I can't demonstrate here because I'm fully clothed and I'm in an airport. So it's dry brushing. And
okay.
dry brushing technique, that's a really great thing. So folks that are watching this, just look it up on a YouTube video. There's plenty of videos. There's also diagrams on how to dry brush, but basically that starts to move your lymphatic system as well. And the brushing motion actually, starts at your feet, starts at your arms, and you're doing sweeping motions towards your heart area.
Okay. Okay.
And then the very final thing is jumping up and down on a trampoline.
Oh, okay. Fun. So we get a little excitement there with our healing. I love it.
That's a great way. Great way. If you just did that and nothing else, then that's
awesome.
a perfect way to help clean out your lymphatic system.
That's awesome. So question with the dry brushing, and I'm also going to ask you to do some homework and post all your, the tongue and then the dry brush, all your favorite products, if you will.
Sure.
The dry brushing always goes to the heart. So we're not pushing it away, but we're we're brushing. Okay. Yeah. And you start with the feet, legs, and then arms and the rest of the body, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. So should we only be doing this in the morning, or should we be doing this any time of day?
I would say that the neck massage and the tongue scraper, do it in the morning.
Okay.
Because, it's so close to our brain. We want to get the stuff to move through the rest of our lymphatic system. We don't want anything to get stuck that's, close to our brain.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then the dry brushing is any time of day, or is that also
anytime? Usually people do it before showering.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much. That's perfect. So, and then are we going to be starting to really see us kind of clear out in like a day or two, or does it usually take a week or maybe 2 weeks? What do we expect there?
Our brain detoxes every single night. So having it just a part of your daily practice is really great.
Okay, beautiful. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. And then moving on to our beautiful spring cleaning video, I wanted to ask what foods we should be eating. So, getting ready, it's of course getting hotter. So we're going to be eating and drinking a lot of cooler foods, kind of going into the summer season. But do you have anything in specifics that we should do?
Yes, definitely. The first one is just, drink plenty of water, right? We tend to not drink enough water. You want to take your body weight and then say it's ounces. So like say you're 120 pounds. So you take your body weight, 120, say it's ounces, cut that in half. So you want 60 ounces of water a day. And this is so important, and a lot of people just miss this really simple step. Another thing that you could do is first thing in the morning, after you do your tongue scraping, you could drink water with some lemon juice in it.
Okay.
it's very cleansing as well. The other thing that I really wanted to note is, and this is just so important too, the more you could step away from sugar and processed foods, the better. Eat a lot more greens, tons and tons of greens. They're very detoxing. And this is the time for berries as well. Berries have lots and lots of antioxidants. Always get organic.
Okay.
Because we want berries specifically because they tend to have more glyphosate than other fruits do. And in fact, you could look at Environmental Working Group's website. They have the list of the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 is usually like an annual list that comes out. They test fruits and veggies, and they note which ones are the safest ones to get not organic. And then they have a list, the Dirty Dozen, of the things that you definitely want to buy organic. And I myself, I always, when I go to the grocery store, I always buy organic because I don't want that added glyphosate. And glyphosate makes it difficult for your body to absorb vitamin D. So we're starting to see massive vitamin D deficiencies in people all over the world. Super important. Go organic. Forget the glyphosate. Take your vitamin D supplements as you need it, and you'll be so much more energized. And in fact, if you're struggling with fatigue now, a great way to boost yourself is to take a vitamin D supplement. I would recommend, though, going to your doctor and get tested for your vitamin D levels. If you're very low, some of my clients have been below 10. And a healthy range by what naturopathic doctors consider a really healthy range is 50 and above. So when you're that low, you could just feel pretty rotten. So getting your vitamin D is so important.
And I'm assuming these people are feeling rotten and not knowing what it is, and so not, really taking the time to figure it out, which could be very harmful for them. You said, I want to go back to the organic, the fruits and vegetables. So I don't know if you've seen an article. I heard an article where there's actually some fruit that the pesticides will go through the skin. If they're like, oh, it's a kiwi, it's fine. Even if they sprayed it, I'm not eating the peel. I'm only eating the inside. But in actuality, some of the pesticides can even go through the peel to the actual fruit. So it doesn't matter that you're not eating the peel or not. You're still digesting those chemicals into your body, which is so interesting. And we don't think about it. We go, oh, it's fine. It's from the grocery store. I trust it. Like it's going to be okay. And at the end of the day, it's like so much of our body is affected by the food we eat.
It really is. And it's a cumulative effect too. We bioaccumulate so many things. Heavy metals is a big thing that we bioaccumulate. We bioaccumulate toxins, and all that means is that we're pretty high up on the food chain, especially if we eat meat. So we're eating the accumulated toxins in that burger that we just had. That cow probably ate plenty of food that had lots of environmental toxins in them, and here we are eating that sort of concentrated version of that. Same goes with fruits and veggies, though. And like you said, just because a kiwi does have an outer layer doesn't mean that the pesticides sit on the outside. No, it goes all the way through the fruit. So you're pretty much ingesting, not too healthy things with your healthy foods that you're trying to eat. So I'm a big fan of organic.
That's beautiful. Now, when it comes to, growing it from fish and meat, how do you stand with digesting, of course, organic or grass-fed meat, but is there anything we should be aware of when we want to not just limit ourselves to fruit and veggies, but also kind of, see what other alternatives are out there when it comes to eating meat and fish?
Are you wondering if there's an alternative, like if you're vegetarian, what other alternatives there are for protein?
Or if we already eat protein. So for me, I'm from Texas. I could not go without meat. It would be so hard for me to go without meat. So, and of course, I'm always getting the organic, grass-fed,
Hmm.
but is there anything else we should look out for? Usually when I get salmon, I make sure it's fresh salmon, it's not farm raised.
Yep.
Um, is there anything else when it comes to any meat or fish that we should look out for that maybe isn't really known in the common sense kind of food industry, right?
Well, I think, often we don't think about how food is prepared.
Oh,
And
okay.
so that's what I would add on to it. Yes, get wild caught. Yes, get grass fed, grass finished, pasture raised, everything, right?
Okay.
Um, if you get other meats, mixing up your meats is also good. So venison, lamb,
Interesting.
give yourself some variety.
Mm,
Chicken is okay. I would do less chicken personally, just
interesting.
because even if it's organic and pasture raised, I mean, you'd really have to go to a small farm and know that, oh, they were living life very, very well and eating
Mm,
all the bugs that they wanted, and then they were slaughtered well. I mean, unless the chicken is treated really well, it's not quite as good for you as getting a small amount of meat.
interesting.
So with regard to the meat, though, you know, you don't need to eat like, a pound of meat in a
Yeah.
setting. Definitely go
Yeah.
for smaller quantities. And if you're having red meat, the less cooked it is, the better.
Mm, very interesting.
Yep,
Um, just make sure it's high quality, just so there
high
is no
quality.
that pesticide. That's
Yep.
beautiful. Thank
Hmm.
you. Perfect. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, and then our last but not least, our beautiful three tips, a few tips we should do for a beautiful mental mind, something that can really get us ready for summer, summer ready,
Hmm.
and just be empowered by who we are and what we're doing through our body weight or, any struggle that we have when it does come in with body image.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited about this because mindset,
Yeah.
your whole mindset could really transform your health. And
Mm,
it's shocking, in
yeah.
fact, how much improvement I've been able to make in my own health when I finally added more shifts. So,
Mm,
one thing that I like to suggest to clients is that when they see themselves in a mirror, to give themselves a compliment.
mm,
Do it out loud, just like you're talking to your best friend. And oftentimes
mm.
we don't say very nice things to ourselves. So pretending that you're your best friend, say something nice to yourself. And all of a sudden, when
Yeah.
you start focusing more and more on the things that you love about yourself, the more you'll appreciate other things about yourself. And even if it's not something that, oh,
Mm.
you think if your arms maybe are a little flabby, maybe your legs have a bit more cellulite than you'd like, uh, remember what those limbs, what your body does for you. My
Mm.
arms are strong enough to hold my daughter, and she is getting big.
Mm.
My legs are strong enough to walk to the grocery store, to walk to the
Mm.
farmer's market. I could hike with my legs. You know, give your body some love.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
you know, give yourself the compliment on things that you like the look of, but remember that the rest of your body, you have hands with 5 fingers, they work. Not everyone has
Mm.
hands with 5 fingers. You know,
Mm. Yeah. So
got to think
true.
about things to appreciate and be grateful for. And that's the other piece, just gratitude. Being grateful for
Mm.
every single little thing that you could possibly imagine. The more we look for things to be grateful for, the more we see them.
Mm.
And the opposite is true too. The more we look for evidence that, life isn't working out for us, or that, things aren't aligned with what we want, the more we
Mm.
look for those things, the more we'll see them. And that's a nasty downward spiral. So we want to turn that spiral upside down and think very grateful thoughts about just
Mm.
anything that we could imagine.
That's so beautiful. I love it. And I think at your first point, I think people forget that we're just a bunch of cells. And, just loving on each and individual cell that we have on such a molecular level allows us to like really appreciate how amazing our body is. Most of us don't think that, our heart is beating, and we don't really, unless we do have maybe a heart palpitation or heart problem, we need, something to help us. But most people are like, oh, my heart's beating, whatever. But that's everything. And if you
Yep.
kind of just remember, wow, my heart's beating, and that's everything I need in this moment. That's everything I need right here, right now. The small problems of ego kind of just drift away. And I
Yes.
think that's, so juicy. That's amazing. And I love your second point that you said, just creating gratitude. And I don't believe a lot of people know how much that this takes into effect. It's like, yeah, okay, I have a great life, but why do I need to appreciate every little thing? And there's a beautiful quote, and I'm forgetting the name of the gentleman who said it, but he said, it's your choice if you want to live in heaven or hell. It's, if you're alone by yourself and feeling bad, then you're in bad company. And I just have to laugh at that quote, because it's so true that we really dictate and determine how we're living our lives. Yes, of course, there's going to be contrast where we go, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's our ability to change who we are from the inside out. And by putting in good food, by giving ourselves good mental health, and by just loving on ourselves, I think we can definitely do that, which is amazing.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
amazing. No, thank you so much for just coming on today. And what do you, perfect. How can people reach you? What do you have coming on? So if we're interested in working with you and
Mm-hmm.
wanting to get more information just for any health issues or anything that's kind of bugging us at the moment, what can we
There,
do?
there are several different things. One, you can sign up for my email
Mm,
newsletter.
okay.
Just go to jessicagreenwellness.com.
Mm,
That's one step. You could also follow me on social media, Jessica Green Wellness.
mm,
Both Facebook and Instagram are the same.
mm.
And I do have, I'm at the airport because I'm going to Swiss Mountain Clinic for a liver cleanse.
Wow.
This is so
Wow.
super exciting for me.
Oh my goodness.
And my goal is soon after I get back, I'm going to host a free 5-day liver cleanse
Oh
through
my
social media
goodness. Oh
and
my
also
goodness.
through my email list. So if you sign up for my newsletter, you'll definitely get notifications about it. Or if you're on social media like
Yeah.
now, then you'd see me there too. And so I'm really hoping to bring home some methods that you could do your own liver cleanse at home more gently, of course, than going
Mm.
to a big clinic.
Yeah.
So I've got that coming up, and that's free. Now, there's a couple of other things that I offer too. I offer one-on-one health coaching. So if you think that
Beautiful.
you'd like to work with me, just, you could connect with me at my website or info at
Beautiful.
jessicagreenwellness.com, or you could send me a DM. Any kind of messaging works for me. And then we could
That's
set up a
awesome.
call to chat and see
Mm.
if that kind of thing would be good for you. And
Mm.
then finally, the very last thing, and I will relaunch this after I get back from my trip, but I do have a 4-week online program called
Oh
Vibrant
wow.
Health. And
Oh
I
wow.
love this program because we talk about how you can sleep better, how you can nourish your body more,
Yeah.
how you can improve your home environment so that it's
Wow.
really supportive of your health journey. And then finally,
Mm.
we talk about mindset. And I go into a little bit more detail about how to start to shift your mindset to be um, more health promoting.
Wow. And
So
that's a 4 week class?
it's a 4-week online class.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. And I will
You're
definitely be looking
welcome.
out for that liver cleanse, because I think that is so important. So important. The liver and kidneys do so much work.
They really do. They're kind of powerhouses. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm really grateful for this trip. Looking forward to finding out so much more information and then sharing it as well.
That's beautiful. Well, Jessica, thank you so much for coming on today. And if anyone wants to reach Jessica, she is attached to this video, and she'll definitely be commenting below all her beautiful recommendations that she mentioned today. And please have a safe trip, Jessica, and let us know how it is when you come back. We're so excited.
Thank you. I will, and thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank
This was
you.
really great.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Awesome. Have a safe flight. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone, for watching. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.
Bye.